Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jeff. So, I got asked a couple questions by people multiple times actually about rentals in Hawaii versus buying, and then even is Hawaii real estate a good investment? Um, so, mostly the question is should I buy a condo and then rent it out? And I can't answer that question for you, but I can say that when I was going through that process of considering it here in Kona, Hawaii, I found some places for like I think $119,000, actually right on the beach, and I was like, wow. And then I said, I do the math, and I was like, 30-year, 15-year, whatever, the monthly payment was going to be amazing. But, and there's a big but I didn't realize that what they had was HOA fees, homeowners association fees. And then you couple in the fact that if you do leave and you need a maintenance, hire a maintenance vacation rental company to manage your property for you, you're really looking at a high rent. So sure, you can get a cheap I mean, 119,000. That's a dang good price. I mean, I don't even know if those. I don't even know how that even happened. But you might see them for $200,000. One or two bedroom condos right there on Ali'i Drive, or even in Maui, or I don't know about Maui. I take that back, but maybe Kauai. I don't know. And you might see some cheap places in Hilo. So Hilo, yeah, you can get some cheap buys in Hilo. Um, the big thing is going to be those HOA fees. I mean, it's kind of like a joke, right? And then, they also have leasehold versus fee simple. You might want to look into that. And then, so if we're just going into these maintenance or HOA fees, they can sometimes get up to, yeah, 600 bucks. Uh, the fees will cover items that guests might expect, like cable, television, Wi Fi, and basic television. So that's cool. You can take that off, utility prices, water, trash, what is that going to come out to? Electricity, if it's even in there. Um, but more often than not, electricity is separate because in Hawaii, electricity is really expensive unless you're on one of those solar units, which a lot of places here in Kona last year did a whole renovation. Just many places were just. I mean, it was a great time to be a solar installer. But once it's all done, then it's all done. What happens to all the installers and all the businesses? It booms and then it peels back. So you're also going to have to take into consideration bug sprays. They do have issues with mold and bugs. Yeah, it happens here. Um, it says the first thing to ask a realtor, they probably won't know the exact answer, but should be able to give you at least the basic answers. Even though you get the basic answers, you still need the details. You won't get the details until you've made an offer that has been accepted and you get it in escrow. So you got to ask the realtors these questions. You got to ask them, what is the HOA fees? Is there any other additional fees like leasehold or you know maintenance fees, rental management agreements, um, these weird things, these leasehold versus fee simple, land tenure. I know I keep saying this, but that's the caveat to buying in paradise. So you're looking online and you're like, wow, I can live in Hawaii for, I can buy a place for $200,000 and rent it out. And then you're like, well, there's might be HOA, but sometimes I've even heard HOAs can get up to $1,000. So your mortgage might be $1,000 and the HOA could be $1,000. Yeah, that's a big issue. So the next question that was also asked are is there issues with Native Hawaiians now not being able to find housing because people from the mainland and other places are moving here, taking up all the housing? That I do not know about. I do know that the situation with Native Hawaiians in the state of Hawaii is a bleak one. It is. It is. I'm not going to blame the government. I'm not going to blame people from the mainland. I'm not going to blame the Native Hawaiian for the situation. But it's a, a lot of it, the diet and the foreign substances, alcohol and drugs, I think have wreaked havoc on a society or a culture. Also, people have to be held accountable for their own actions individually. So you can't say that the whole group of Hawaiians is a certain way, because I've also met very responsible, beautiful, cultured, and it doesn't get any better than that for Aloha Hawaiian. So you can't really lump them all in there, just like you can't lump all mainlanders in there or anything really. Obviously, I'm not trying to give you any advice on how to not be or be a certain way. But I know that the the Hawaiian government has really struggled with finding housing for homeless people, and there are many native Hawaiian people who have become homeless because they don't have any other options. It's like priced out of paradise. So for them, they're like, well, this is all we've known, and now we can't afford to live in these $1,200 $1,200 rentals. So they'll just go set up a tent, a teepee on the beach, which is, some would say that's awesome, but I mean that's what it has happened, and that's not legal. You can't just. But where else are they going to go? They don't have homeless shelters, and they don't have public housing here in Hawaii for the Native Hawaiians. And sometimes these people are not even on drugs; they're just simply priced out of paradise. So what happens to them? They just go back to the mainland where they're not even from, and try to continue to make it over there. So the situation with Hawaii, I mean, not to sound like I keep coming, we always revert back to the Hawaiian government situation. The situation is very complex, especially with the homeless, because outside of the native population that is becoming homeless and wants to live on the beach, there's also people from the mainland who run away from their life over there to live on an island and choose to be homeless, because what better place than to be homeless in Hawaii? So that's where the rental situation with the Native Hawaiians gets really complicated. There is a blood quantum that the Hawaiian people are able to qualify for, if they qualify at like 25% DNA genealogy. And that's a whole nother video really to talk about the homeless problem and all that. But in terms of rentals and buying a lot and developing here, it's seems like if you buy a lot and build on it, it seems almost less hassle, because I think you can potentially avoid those HOA fees. So if you can do anything in Hawaii and you're talking to a real estate agent, you might consider buying a lot and building, because you have to ask your real estate agent, what are the hidden fees? The HOA fees, I know I've already mentioned that, and any other sort of hidden fees that can come up, because like it says in this note, they can hide that. They don't have to disclose that information to you off the bat, because number one, they might not actually know that, or two, they might not ask unless you ask, or they might not tell you unless you ask. So it's we're not saying that there's shady realtors. We're just saying that if you want to move to paradise, there is going to be a price to pay, and it's always been that way. And you couple in the dynamic of not enough housing for Native Hawaiians and people trying to move here left and right, and the government trying to balance all of that out and how to make their money and tax everybody justifiably, it's kind of unique. So, not to rain on anybody's parade, I'm just saying that, yeah, it's not as easy as you would think. Maybe Florida's a little bit easier, actually. Other than that, no other comments. So, subscribe to this channel if you have any questions. This is just a video. I'm not claiming any expertise on it, so this is just a informative video of a, something that I went through.